everybody, it's Julia from LiveWealthyRetirement.com. Today I have a special guest on my channel. Rebecca Harrold is a wonderful pianist, vocalist, and a composer. But the main goal of my channel is to help people make earnings from what they're passionate about, yet working for themselves on their own flexible schedule. Therefore, today's conversation with Rebecca will be not about the art of music per se, but pretty much down to earth. We'll discuss how to make a living as an artist. I encourage you to explore Rebecca's wonderful compositions and her performances later.
Thank you.
I will provide all the links to her website, to her social media, her YouTube channel in the description of this video. We all know that making a living as a professional artist is not an easy task. Unfortunately, a lot of artists are forced to get another occupation and make it their main source of income, shifting their arts to their spare time. I am starting a series, hopefully, of interviews where I will invite artists from different fields, professional artists who have succeeded to make a living out of their projects, products, and services they offer offline and online. We will leave the celebrities out of this conversation. Yes, we are going to discriminate against them as a minority in the field. As I said, Rebecca is a musician, and today's conversation will be focused on music. But if you are an artist and not a musician, I hope you will still get some helpful tips and ideas on how to diversify your sources of income within your occupation, within your talent. But before we begin, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel and click that bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you can be notified when I upload new videos. You will be the first one to know when I upload my next interview, especially if you are not a musician and are more interested in other areas of arts. Thank you, and also please do follow Rebecca, find her links under this video, and also subscribe to her YouTube channel. Thank you. Let's get started. Hi, Rebecca. How are you?
Hi, Julia. Well, I'm doing good.
Let's talk a little bit about your background. Where are you from? When and how did you discover your interest and your talent in music? Where did you study music? How it all has started?
Little bit of background.
Yes.
Well, I'm from Ohio originally, which is a state in the Midwest. I grew up on a small farm just outside of Cleveland, Ohio. So I'm east of Cleveland. And, my mom was a musician, and she really believed in getting all of us kids. I'm one of 7. I'm the baby of 7. Yeah, in my family. And she really believed that we needed to study music, we needed to do sports, and do well in school, of course. And she took us to church. So those were like, the church, school, music, and sports. And I started when I was 2. I started when I was a baby. Yeah. I mean, she had us all, she was a musician too. So she had us all sitting at the piano while she was playing. So any chance that we had to hit the keys or, play on the keyboard, she would encourage it. So I had a really early introduction to music as just a part of life,
That's wonderful. So your mom was supportive. I know that many parents don't want their kids to go to art college because whether it's true or not, they believe that it's very hard to make a living out of this arts occupation.
Right. Well, yeah, it's kind of she kind of wanted us to just all of us to take music because she thought it was so good for you. Like she thought it was good for you as a student, as a learner. It wasn't necessarily she was thinking that we would go into it for a living. She just thought that this was something that every child should have as part of their education.
And I totally agree with her. There is a lot of research nowadays proving her right. So how did it happen that you turned the music into your profession, and have your siblings done the same?
Well, one of my sisters she just retired. She was a teacher up in Canada. She taught music forever, and she was always singing, and she taught music through, I think she did elementary through high school. She taught like all levels in the school system.
Thank you.
And my other sister is a singer, and she sings out in Colorado. So the girls stayed with the music, and all the boys, they kind of just went on and did other things out of 7 of us, you know? But music was the one thing that I felt I excelled at, you know? I liked school. I was an okay student. I wasn't brilliant. I didn't get all A's all the time. Math was not my strong suit, although I have a lot of respect for math. I love math, but I can't keep all the rules straight. But music, it's just always stuck with me. So there wasn't really a plan B for me anyhow.
And where did you study music? Where did you go to college?
I went to a small conservatory in Ohio. It's right. It's called Baldwin Wallace University. It's a university now. When I was going, it was a college, and it was very small. I liked it because, you know, got a lot of attention. It was we learned all conservatory stuff, reading, writing, all the basics about music. And my major was vocal performance. So, yeah, but I did an awful lot of playing because I'm an excellent sight reader. So I could sight read for all the other musicians and play their concerts and stuff like that.
As much as I know, you're also an excellent improviser and composer. Am I right?
Well, thank you. Yes, I improvise a lot.
But you compose your own music as well. Have you studied composition somewhere, or it's just your natural gift?
I didn't like study it, but I took a few classes in college, and we had he was an incredible composition teacher. The head of the composition department was from Armenia, and he was an amazing composition teacher. I learned so much from him, and I think I only took like 1 or 2 courses. He was just an incredible inspiration to me as a composer. So though I didn't major in it, I got some really good training from that man. Loris Shobanyan was his name, and he played guitar. He was a guitarist. So
that's wonderful. And do you think of yourself? I know what I think, but do you think of yourself as a successful musician today, to your own definition of success, of course?
Well, that's a good question. I suppose there are, you know, like there are things that I've succeeded at accomplishing, you know, in my life. I've created 1 CD, so I feel like that's a success. I got it finished and it's done. And I feel like each step of the way, there are a lot of different successes in my life. I haven't achieved like everything that I've wanted to achieve, but I guess that's why I'm still alive. That's the way I look at it. I still have things I want to accomplish, you know?
Sure.
So that's a tough question. Because I feel like I've been successful at what I've put my mind to, and the things that I believe God has given me to do. I've been pretty successful. but I still have quite a list of things I'd like to accomplish.
That's great. Well, in my opinion, you are successful. I know some of your work.
Thank you.
I've seen you teaching. I listen to your music. Your original music in that album that you recorded is beautiful.
Thank you.
You might be not rich, but you are able to do what you love to do and pay your bills. To me, it's a success, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. There's days when I don't feel so fine, but you know,
Of course, yeah.
you got to get up and do it every day. I learn a lot from dancers.
Yes, we'll talk about that too. Let me ask you first. Do you remember what was the first more or less stable and consistent paid work in music that you had after the college?
Yeah, I do. I mean, church jobs have always been consistent. Whether I'm a director or a musician or a singer in the church, I've always pretty much steadily have had a church job. And, you know, that's what I've relied on. Between that and teaching and church jobs. And I think, you know, because I play the piano and I'm able to read music, which is really a gift. I believe my teacher really imparted that skill on me at such a young age. It's allowed me to play with so many different people and have so many different styles that I can learn, and because I read music, and it's like being able to read a language. You can go to a library and pick up any book and just, you know, have all of that information available to you. And that's how I feel with music. I've just had the capacity to read music has given me so many choices and chances. Choices and chances.
That's a wonderful combination. I know that you can play by ear and you can also fluently read sheet music, so you're a perfect fit for every band and every group of musicians.
I started by ear because I was only 2. So I was picking up everything by ear, and then as soon as I was able to read, my teacher had me reading, you know, reading everything. Just plop it down in front of you and read it. You know, which is fun. And that, so teaching and playing in church, and then ballet.
I would definitely like to talk more about your experience at Boston Ballet. So, did you move from Ohio straight to Massachusetts?
Well, I moved Massachusetts in 1986. So, yeah. I've spent most of my life in Massachusetts.
Please tell us what you do here in Massachusetts. I know you have a great day job.
My day job is I play for Boston Ballet. I'm the principal pianist. Sorry if my visibility is not that good.
That's okay.
So I get to play for the dancers at the Boston Ballet.
How do you like it? And you said that dancers taught you a lot. So what did they teach you?
Oh, I love it. I love working with the dancers because they're so inspiring. I've learned a lot about you know, work ethic and just really developing your own craft by working with dancers, because they're very some people would say they're very, you know, workaholics. they're always working on their taking class and rehearsing and learning parts. It's just nonstop. Like even on their days off, they're at the ballet studio warming up and stretching.
Do you have to be with them when they're exercising and rehearsing?
Yeah, sometimes I am. It just really depends. It's a very big world, you know, the ballet world. I play mainly for the education department, the school, Boston Ballet School, but I'll sometimes play for the company, play for their warm-ups before shows, you know, because they always warm up before a show. They have a little bit of a bar class, and then, you know, they get ready for their performances.
And how did you get this job? People who are watching us must be thinking that it's extremely difficult to get a job like this, and probably is. Are they good enough? Does it even make sense to apply? So can you tell us, please, how you came across this position, how you applied, what special skills they were looking for in the musicians? Did you have any connections to get there?
Well, I mean, it really is kind of a roundabout story because I was doing music at a preschool. I always did like the music and the crafts and things like that. I was playing music and singing with the little kids, and one of the little students, his name is Samuel, took piano lessons with a woman named Afrika Lamb, and they invited me to Samuel's piano recital, which they were hosting at his house. So I went and met the piano teacher, Afrika, and she had heard that I was a pianist and a singer. So she said, "How about you sit down and play a little number?" And I was like, "Okay." So I sat down, and then she said, "I think you would be great to play for Boston Ballet. Why don't you come on down and we'll give you an audition and see how it goes from there." And that was back in 1998. Like, that's right when I started at the ballet in 1998. So, for me, it's all about taking those risks, because I could have easily said, "No, I'm not going to play. This is a student's recital. I don't want to play anything." After the students all did their recital, she just said, "Hey, get on up and do a song." And, it just opened up that door for me. And I said, "Sure, I'll take it." It was a steady job, 4 or 5 hours a day playing for class, and
Full time, every day?
pretty much, yeah, every day. And I didn't know what I was doing as far as ballet music is concerned. Ballet is very specific. It isn't like being in a jazz club or a restaurant where you can kind of just like play whatever you want. You have to play what works with what they're doing. So it's a very extreme, I call it like an extreme collaborative sport, because you're collaborating with someone who doesn't speak. Like, they don't, they're just dancing, and you kind of got to like make your music fit that. So it took me probably about, I don't know, 5 years to really feel like I knew what I was doing in ballet, specific to ballet. Eventually, you start sort of like things start making sense, like what they're doing, how they're moving, and what works for certain movements. And then after probably 10, 15 years, I was appointed as principal pianist. And I think that really just has to do with my being there and being loyal and, being a good employee. I think that all helps, just having those good work ethics,
Rebecca, your story about this little boy and you attending his recital and playing there and making new connection, and as a result getting this amazing job, brings us closer to the conversation about networking. But before we go there, I want to ask you one more question. Can you think of any other employer similar to ballet company that would hire a musician as an instrumentalist, not as a teacher or professor?
Yeah, well, I mean, you might want to just have a COVID-19 discussion, because it's being changed a lot. The only other places where I can think that you, as a pianist specifically, have that freedom would be like in restaurants, restaurants and bars. Or
do you mean if you like it to get in a house band? As far as I know, most restaurants prefer to invite different musicians for occasional gigs. I was asking about something consistent where you can come this week and next week and week after that to the same place and play your music.
I see. Yeah, consistency.
Yeah.
A lot of my colleagues are like professors in either professors or simply a hired staff pianist at a college. That, I mean, if you have the skill to be able to read music, that would be a really sweet gig, because that's all you're doing. And that's what I did when I was in college. I paid for a lot of my school stuff and extra stuff by being in every single studio, whether it's voice, cello, violin. I played for flutes. I played for the whole brass department, from flutes to euphoniums to tubas, and then the string department. And basically, you're just reading music constantly. Or if, like, because there are other styles of learning, like Suzuki, which is all by ear, then you would just learn the repertoire and be like a staff pianist for either one section.
Rebecca, I can see your beautiful picture, but I lost your video. And now I can't hear you either. And my mic is not working very well. All those technical issues. Here you go.
Yeah, no, I've had issues all morning. I think it's because I'm by the ocean. But yeah, I think that's a good question too. You have a lot of good questions, because I think, either having a staff position or being in ballet, which is pretty consistent, but you have to be with a big ballet company, like one of the top 10 who can afford to have multiple pianists, and then you can, because when I moved to Denver, they didn't have enough work for me as a ballet pianist. It was just not sustainable. So,
okay.
Yeah, or theater. I mean, I've worked a lot in theater too, live theater, where they need incidental music, or you're composing travel music, or you're working on a specific musical.
Can we talk about networking now? In our short conversation before this interview, you mentioned how you traveled different states just to keep in touch with people. How important it is to build personal connections and social circle, because you never know where an opportunity may come from. And I know you are very good at it. Can you please share with all of us your experience?
Yeah, no, I really think that's the lifeblood of a musician. That's so. Long time ago, I remember hearing a question that either a manager or somebody had asked, and it said, "Are you the type of person that's loyal to an organization, or are you loyal to people?" And I'm a person that likes to build loyalty between people, because an organization can crumble, can fall, but the people within that organization are all going to move on and do other things, because we like to work, we need to work. And so I know if I've built a good relationship with those people, my team, then I have a good chance of maybe somebody saying, "Hey, let's get Rebecca. I know her. She's a good worker." But like, let's say Boston Ballet crumbles, and I've only been loyal to Boston Ballet, and I've not been nice to my people, then I'm going to be in trouble. And that's just always the way that I think, because people are my natural resource. People are a resource that I find invaluable, and it's like you say, you never know who might have work for you going forward. And it's tough. I mean, I've talked myself out of going to networking situations just because I'm not feeling like I want to be there. But I know it's important for me to go and just, shake a few hands and say hi. And I'm not any serious networker. It's not like I'm going out every single night. But there are times when I'm not feeling it. But I know that this is important. And I've made up my mind that I'm going to do this. And,
And you are very positive, always smiling, very friendly and very charismatic person. And those qualities and skills, I believe, are very helpful in establishing social connections. But not all people, including musicians, have them, right? Are they in trouble?
Follow-up. follow-up is actually probably more important than the meeting, you know? Because I've got drawers filled with business cards that I've not followed up on. You see what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
there are, I can get cards and I can say hi, but if I don't follow up and have some sort of a continuous connection with somebody, then it's not going to amount to really anything. It won't amount to anything, good, bad, or otherwise.
I'm not wrapping up our conversation yet, if you don't mind, if you still have time. I just want to recap what we've talked about so far. You've mentioned sources of income for musicians, such as teaching, doing occasional gigs, being employed by ballet schools, big ballet schools, working as a staff musician in colleges and theaters. You've also mentioned production of your personal album, music album, and you can sell your CD offline, but it also creates a bridge for us to talk about online income, because you can sell your music online as well.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Well, I mean, online is a whole different animal, honestly. And I honestly don't feel like I can really speak to that at a level where it makes credible sense, because I feel, there are a lot of success stories that have to do with online promotion or online visibility that have nothing to do with skill. It has
Exactly.
everything, you know what I'm saying? No excellence on the online thing. What was your question?
No, but I am asking you. You produced your CD. Do you sell it
Co-produced.
offline?
Yeah.
How do the sales of your CD go offline?
Offline? No, people aren't really buying CDs. They're really just not. I mean, most of the times I use those as as a business card, and seriously, that's what I've been advised. Like, use them as a business card, or when I do live performances, it's a good way to. I hate to say it, but just ask for donations if people want to give toward the next production. And because a lot of people don't even know what a CD player is. Like the younger generation, they don't really use CDs. I've tried sticks, the little USB drives. I got my music on USB drives. Those don't really sell either, because you need another piece of equipment. So,
so do you sell your album online?
Well, it's available. I'm not
Through
gonna
what?
say it's available. iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, to be heard on all the platforms, and then you can purchase through CD Baby, Bandcamp, iTunes, Apple, all the platforms that sell music.
How does that go?
It's like a trickle. As far as a stream of income, it's a trickle. I wouldn't. For me, I can't rely on that as a real source of income. I think it can be beefed up. A lot of people are doing that. Many musicians are doing online sales, and I'm not really aware of all that, how it works. I know it does work, though.
Yes, you're right. Sites like CD Baby, iTunes, Amazon are huge, and you are a needle in a haystack there.
Yeah.
So you definitely need to promote your work separately. Those sites give you an ability to sell, so that you don't need to create your own digital store. But you definitely need to know how to promote it. And as you said, it's a whole different skill. And this is what I've been learning and coaching for the past 3 years.
Yeah. Which is a great skill. It's awesome.
I can't say that I am an expert already, but I know many ways of promoting digital services and products online. Some methods get tricky, some methods get costly, And there is this one method that I prefer, and I find it the most reliable yet free and pretty simple to implement, and everyone can do it. It's through the website, content-driven website, and search engine optimization. There is a lot of material on my website on this topic, so our viewers can check it out there. I'm thinking of making a video that describes this method in application to artists in particular, because I think it's going to work even better for artists than for people who don't have any products or services to sell. Even though it's good for them too, because you can always do affiliate marketing, which is promoting other people's, other organizations' products and receiving commissions for that. I lost your video again.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll talk about it some other time, but I just wanted to speak to you. I know you are not liking technology much, but how did your life change, and what did you do during the pandemic and quarantine? How did it affect you?
Oh, during the pandemic? Yeah, I'm very hands-on. So I have been playing a lot and, writing and getting creative, We do Zoom meetings through Boston Ballet, and we will be continuing our summer program, and all the students will be online. So that's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that evolves, because I believe that's what's going to be our model going into the fall, until people are really comfortable with having 40 students in one classroom. I think we're going to have to do some combination of smaller live classes, and maybe have other parts of the our student body would be online, let's say that. Who knows though? And it's the thing that I've just really been hanging on to is that nothing is for certain, because everything is changing daily, like from my job and what we're required or what we're thinking. We thought we were going to be back in the studio in time to do our final performance, which was in May. So, every week it was something new, and I just felt like, okay, you know what? This is where improvisation comes in really handy, because I'm going to improvise. I'm going to improvise this whole week, And the one thing that was steady throughout this pandemic has been my church gig. I've been playing and singing up until 2 weeks ago, and then they stopped the singing. So now I do all the recording of all the church music so that they have it for Sunday morning. So it's kept me pretty busy.
That's wonderful. That's great.
People don't realize that recording, well, you might realize, but recording takes a lot of time. Oftentimes they think, oh, it's just one song, it'll take 3 minutes. Well, it doesn't, because you got to set it up. You have to get the right, as close as possible to a good sound, without it being overproduced or anything like that. And it requires a little bit of extra time. So I'm really grateful that I've had that job, because that's been the one thing that I feel like I'm getting up and I'm going to work on Sunday morning. It's been odd. Self-direction is not my strong suit, I like getting direction from other people, or having students that I can direct them, So it's really helped me to look inward a little bit more, if you really want to know about the pandemic. It's all about finding that motivation from within with me.
Did you participate in any of those, collaborative projects that musicians were putting online during the quarantine? No?
Let's see. No, most of my collaborations I've done live, because I've been working with people who I have worked with continuously. We've kept 6 feet distance at the church, and I've taught lessons live, 6 feet distancing, or if somebody wants to wear a mask and they prefer, and I'll wear a mask, whatever. But I have just reached out, again, my networking, and just reached out to the people in my community that may want to take a lesson or, get together and collaborate. I've been doing some writing with two of my friends. We're collaborating, and little by little, some of the club owners are starting to do outside concerts, and they've asked me to be a part of that. And it's a slower pace, which I like, but it's been really good because I feel the energy from people really wanting live music now. And it's a huge shift, even in the audience's desire. Like, I think we were all kind of getting like antsy. What do we do with live performances? How do we get this whole online streaming thing going on? And then bam, we get this pandemic, and it's like, well, now we have no choice. Everything is going to be online.
Exactly.
And then when you do a live performance, people are like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. There's a revitalization, I think, going on. That's my hope. So people are going to be really, really eager to see live performances once we get out of this.
I want to say that musicians and other artists kept me personally sane during this quarantine. There was so much entertainment. There is so much positivity in the world of arts. So instead of reading all that, argumental information about COVID-19, I would just go on YouTube and listen and listen and listen. So I really grateful to all the musicians, and there was so much free streaming available. I believe that arts saved many people from depression and from maybe even some lives. You never know. Yeah. So I think it's very important, but unfortunately, the government doesn't think so, and arts is considered the least essential business. So the big venues, at least, will not open soon.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah, it's cut us off at the knees in some ways. We've had to really rethink how to deliver our art, especially in the dance world. I think they've been hit pretty hard.
Yes,
it's impossible to physically distance from dancing. I mean,
as you know, I am also I'm not a professional dancer, but I am in the dancing community.
Tango
community, and I see that our teachers who have their studios and have to pay for their studios space, they are renting space, they need to pay for it, right? So they too are offering lessons online, and it's working. It's not as wonderful as when you come and they can show you dancing with you how to move, but they are very good and they give very nice instructions. We did private lessons and group lessons and everything. So I feel like there is a lot of work that can be done online that we wouldn't even think about. But teaching is something where you're still trading your time for money.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is probably when quarantine is ended, artists would prefer to do it live rather than online, because online students don't get the whole thing, and it can't be charged as much as per live lesson. So artists still spends a lot of time, but can't charge as much as they would in the studio.
I think it changes the quality. The quality of the teaching is drastically reduced, in my opinion.
It is. It is reduced, definitely. I wouldn't take those classes for full price, but still, it's better than nothing. While in-person classes are not possible, I think it's great that some art teachers offer instructions online and keep us moving, exercising, and practicing the skill. I hope that one-on-one lessons will resume very soon, but I don't believe that group
lessons will be allowed anytime soon. If an art teacher is working online with the same group of people that they used to work with offline, then as soon as pandemic is over and we are allowed to meet face-to-face in large groups, it wouldn't make sense to continue doing online classes. As we said, the quality is lower, there is more work for the teachers, so the pay is lower. I've taken some group classes and I can tell that feedback and communication between students and teachers, even via Zoom, even in small groups, is not possible. Teachers have to mute everybody because of the background noises that we have in our households, and we can't speak all together. Teachers have only a few pictures of the participants on their screen, and the rest, even if there are only 10 people, the rest is off screen, so they need to scroll down to see them. And of course, they won't do it during the lesson, they just can't. So if a student has a question and raises hand, they simply can't see you and can't see your hand, so you won't be able to ask any questions. So it comes down to teachers creating instructions, which good teachers do very good job of. They repeat, they show, they explain, so it's not like just demonstrating skill, it's teaching. So they create instructions and students just follow up on their own. Some teachers record those sessions, others don't. If they record and make it available for students later, then I think it's a better option, because whatever you missed, whatever you didn't catch on the first attempt, you can play back and repeat on your own later. But not all teachers, unfortunately, do that. It wouldn't make sense to continue doing online lessons for people that can work with you offline. But there are over 4 billion of internet users worldwide. Over 4 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Big audience.
We come again to digital marketing. If you could reach out to the wider audience, if you could reach out to people who are in the areas where the skill they want to learn is not offered, there are no classes, or they simply can't afford live lessons, even group lessons. One group lesson is not that expensive, but you need, in order to learn the skill, you need to take series of them, and it comes to a good dollar amount. Or maybe there are lessons, but teachers are not good, and they like you as a teacher. Then you open up possibility to have large groups. As I said, communication is not possible anyway. So it doesn't really matter if there are 10 students in the group or hundreds or even thousands. So if only you could reach to those people, you could do live streaming for, let's say, 100 people.
Wow.
And sell your lesson for $5. So 5 times 100, you get paid as a teacher. And I'm not talking directly to you, Rebecca. I'm just giving an idea. So if there are 100 people in the group and $5 per lesson, it's going to be $500. And that already pays for the work that the teacher has done creating these online instructions. And if these instructions were recorded, then you can put it somewhere online and sell it afterwards. So now it's an idea for residual income. You're not trading your time for money anymore. You've done your video recording once, you put it online and you sell it over and over again. You get those $5 from many people over a period of time. And then the second lesson and third lesson and so on. So it can really generate good revenue if only you could reach out to that large audience. You can build your followings. And I understand that this skill, the digital marketing skill, has nothing to do with arts. And I understand that artists may not want to learn that skill, but then maybe it makes sense to hire a digital marketer. The method that I've mentioned earlier in our conversation, the content-driven website and search engine optimization, I think that's the best fit for artists, because content-driven website is basically a blog, and blog is written in conversational language, so you don't need to be a writer for that, but it has to be frequently updated. And every artist who is experienced, educated specialist has their stories to tell. If you are teaching music to someone, you are not just teaching the skill itself, you are not just teaching to play the piano, you are telling your students the stories about composers, best performers, historical periods in classical music, or about genres of music. So you have your stories to tell. And it's easy enough to type up those stories and publish on your website. However, the website has to be updated at least twice a week. The more often the better, but at least twice a week. And it might be still more than one artist would want to do, so it's still time consuming. Therefore, I think that this could work in collaboration of many artists. So it could be
a good team, right?
Yeah.
Like getting a team of people together.
Content-driven website is supposed to be narrow niche, and arts is a very wide niche, but I don't know a single person who is interested in only one narrow direction of arts. So if I'm interested in dancing, then I'm interested in music as well. If I'm interested in photography, I'm interested in fine arts and as well. So I think it might work for arts. Usually you target very specific audience, and that I think in arts that audience is largely overlapping. So if I search in Google for Astor Piazzolla and I come to your website for music, then I probably will read your post and stay longer to read something about tango dance, for example. So I think it might work, but also it's good for arts because you can narrow down that niche as well and still have collaborative work where people are not competing, but rather complementing each other. Like, for example, if you choose not all the arts, but instrumental music in arts, then you could have piano player, flute player, violin, and all other instruments. And again, that would be more targeted to the people who are interested in instrumental music. I think it's a good fit because the work you do for that website is still in your artistic skill, in your artistic interest. The only part that is not is search engine optimization itself.
Yeah, that's very true. When you get that started to build up, let me know.
Well, it's not my intention to get it started because I am not an artist, but if you or any one of our viewers would like to put a team of artists together and build such a website, I'll be happy to help. I can be reached through my website, livewealthyretirement.com. There is a contact page. I will receive your email if you send me a message, or you can leave a comment in the comment area below this video. I'll be happy to help with the website itself, search engine optimization, keyword research. I can provide some resources. I can point out the place where I learned digital marketing.
And you want to know what I heard? You're a blogger, right? Your blog, you do blogging, video blogging?
Yes.
I was on a breakout conversation with this organization in New York City called New Music USA.
Yes, please. Yeah.
And one of the things that was mentioned that I thought was really interesting and very true was that because of all of this streaming activity that many musicians are taking advantage of right now because of COVID-19, we need people who can blog and do reviews of music, because there's just, it's like what you were just saying. You see these people and you're like, I have no idea how they're getting these incredible numbers. And what can help to validate the people who, you know, may not know all the techno gadgetry is to have people who can write valid critiques of your performances online and sort of elevate it through, this is, you know, like a 5-star rating. Remember Siskel and Ebert used to rate the movies. There's nothing like that. There is nothing like that on streaming anywhere. And it was one thing that was mentioned that I thought that would be a good idea for somebody who does something like what you do, to have that be like a creditable way of rating all of this online stuff, because it's just too much. I got massively overdosed by all the stuff that was happening. I'm just like, this is just too much. And a lot of it isn't good. I mean, I have to say,
exactly.
You know, a lot of it is not good. Everybody's coming out and thinking they're the next Michael Jackson. And it's like, no, not that you know, and it's just like, no, there's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And they were saying, like, to have some sort of like people who are creditable to do these critiques on these online concerts and stuff. I thought that might be an interesting new genre of work for folks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Yeah, it's also content which can bring people to the website. And then YouTube, 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours watch time. You can monetize your YouTube channel, generate some revenue. This website, when you get, I would say, like, some people start from the very, very early, but I would say when you get like several hundreds visitors per day to your website, to your even collaborative website, you can add third-party ads as well. And this is clearly like truly passive income. Like, the you higher your traffic, the more revenue it generates. Of course, if you have a team working on the website, you probably will share that revenue. But eventually it becomes good money, good additional income from doing nothing specifically for this advertisement. Google AdSense is one, but there are others as well.
And this is really, you know, simple enough skill to learn, and I could provide ideas, and I'm happy to help learning that. If, let's say, 1 of 10 people decides that it's okay with him or her to learn it and become a website administrator or manager for the whole team, then it will be cheaper for the whole team. But because that person is within the team and he or she is interested in promoting her own other stuff. So, but if not, then again, you can hire someone from outside who would be interested to do optimization of artists' posts for your website. It might be more expensive though.
And like in every occupation, I used to be a programmer, computer software developer. Code. I like to write code that does something. But you don't always do only what you like to do. Within that occupation, I had to write technical documentation. I had to do quality assurance. I had to do builds for the project when we launch new release, like prepare for release. And those things are not exactly what I want to do, but it's within my occupation. Same with arts. You like to draw, you like to play piano, you like to sing, whatever. But there are
Yeah.
other things within that occupation that may bring more money and you will have to do, right?
Yep.
And you do it.
Exactly. That's
Online
exactly.
or offline, I'm just trying to help people realize that it's beneficial to have part of it offline, my biggest part, and some part online as well. Work on something that can sell online.
That's right. Well, I appreciate that because that's where I'm trying to get a little bit more energy online, because I think you're absolutely right. There is a way of tapping into that, and it can bring some monetary income, and that's something that when you asked in the beginning, do you feel like you're a success? That would be the area where I feel like I need a little extra energy to get to that success in understanding how to use the internet. It's a big step in that direction for me.
That's a good,
And it's all good. It's all good.
Good idea. So for our viewers, I want to invite you to participate in our discussion with Rebecca and share your thoughts.
Let us know whether what Rebecca shared with you today was helpful for you. Please leave us comments. Don't forget to check Rebecca's website and her YouTube channel. Rebecca, what is the best place to listen to your music?
To my music, I think if you go to YouTube, and just my channel, Rebecca Harrold, it'll have all relevant links. I'm on Spotify and Pandora.
I'll leave all the links for you below. So please check Rebecca's music, leave us your comments, subscribe to our YouTube channels. And Rebecca, thank you so much for this conversation. I hope our viewers found it helpful. It was definitely very interesting and helpful to me. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And also, if you guys are looking for the team to start that website that we discussed, leave your name in the comments. Maybe you can connect through our channels.
Oh, yeah. That's one thing I like to do too, is mentoring. It's been a big part of who I am. LinkedIn has a feature for mentoring people, and I like doing that a lot. Just sharing the things that I've been through. It's not to say that people have to do it my way, but maybe something will ring a bell, or ring a truth.
Exactly. Oh, and I'm also going to leave you a link to the platform where I host my website, livewealthyretirement.com. It's a very reliable, secure, and fast web hosting. They also provide step-by-step training in online marketing. That's where I learned, and I've been with the company for 3 years, so it's really good. I'm not lying, it's good. You can check it out for free. However, in order to get through the whole training, you would need to become a premium member, which has a fee of $49 per month. And if you are doing that team website, then you can designate one person to take a training and have your website hosted at this service for the same price. So it will be much cheaper for the whole team. So if you decide to check out this platform for free, then please be active within your first week, because within first week, free or starter members have access to many premium options. You can check them out. In a week, after a week, those options will be taken away from you. You can stay free member as long as you wish, but there will be very limited access to things within the platform. Once again, link will be below this video in the description. All right. Thank you, Rebecca. Very nice talking to you.
Well, thank you so much for having me here, and I appreciate you asking some good questions. It gets me thinking.
All right.
Okay, now we need to listen to your music for positive energy.
Well, thank you, and it's very inspiring that the arts are helping lots of people to get through this. It's challenging, but I appreciate that.
Sure. Well, bye Rebecca, bye everybody. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us comments below. Like and share this video. Check our links. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time.